Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Leadership Principles. It is our course on leadership and management skills. The undergraduate section is LDR 300, Effective Leadership Principles and Skills. But we do have some graduate students with us, and we're giving also the lectures for LD 510 called Leadership Principles. So whether you're graduate or undergraduate, will you open, please, your syllabus and study guide to the very first page. I believe that's little I, Roman numeral little I. Let's look at the course description together. We're going to take the time to walk through the syllabus part of our study guide. Not just for those in the room, we've already discussed it a bit, but for those that are on the other end of those lenses I'm looking at right now. So let's look at our course description. The course will provide a foundational framework of knowledge and critical thinking skills. Students will evaluate contemporary leadership challenges and propose solutions to develop the thinking processes and skills needed to transform organizations through effective leadership. Now this course really is not just designed for church leaders, but for any leader. Leadership is leadership. Management is management. And a good leader can lead anything. A good manager can manage anything if he knows the principles and has the skills required. The course rationale is this. The study of this course will enhance the student's knowledge and skills in effective leadership of people and organizations. Students' awareness and ability to apply Christian leadership principles will be increased. And our course objectives are rather straightforward, and I believe they're the exact same in both syllabi. Identify key issues that confront the leader in ministry, education, business, or other organizations, and we'll be talking about a lot of those. Identify and develop strategies for developing effective leadership in one's own family, business, and ministry. Discuss and formulate a leadership training and development strategy for an organization. Demonstrate a level of competency in assessing levels of function and dysfunction in the leadership of an organization. And finally, in the cognitive objectives, develop a personal theory and methodology of effective Christian leadership. We'll look at the affective domain and read those, please, for yourself. They're the same. And then the course outline. I'm going to give, at the beginning of each one of our sessions, lectures. We may finish the lectures in a single session, have discussion time right there. We may have to carry them over. It just depends on how the lecture works out. I haven't worked too hard to write 50-minute lectures. In fact, you'll see that in section 1 we have 8 lectures scheduled. I may be able to get a bonus lecture worked in that I'll give you the notes for and in a handout form. We're prepared for that kind of thing if we're blessed enough to be able to do it. And in Module 2, you'll see that those lectures are prepared and ready for you as well. Come to course method, Roman numeral 6, if you will. And this is where we'll find some differences between the graduate and undergraduate requirements. I'm going to ask you if you'll read course method. This will not change, and it's virtually the same course by course. But the difference in the course texts ought to be mentioned here. The Rosenbach and Taylor text, where's the Rosenbach and Taylor text, is the graduate requirement, contemporary issues in leadership. And I want to say that this is some of the most exciting leadership reading that you're going to find. It really is a series of essays by many different leaders coming from different vantage points, and you get a lot of insight into good leadership principles. Frank Damasio's book, The Making of a Leader, is the next book for the graduate level. The Making of a Leader. This is a classic text for ministers, and any minister who is going to make his living pastoring and leading people in congregations really ought to have this book. It's an excellent resource for any, especially pastor, but any Christian leader. Now, on the other side, in the 300 level course, which is the undergraduate course, this James Hunter book called The Servant. Now, this is really not a textbook, but it is a fascinating read. I read it in one sitting. It is just an incredible book that I think everybody will benefit from if you'll just throw yourself into the book. Finish it now. Read it from start to finish, and let the impact of it get to you. It's an excellent book on servant leadership, and that really is what this university is all about: training servant leaders, servant leadership. Now, here's a book I've used for years, and I've taught from this book for a number of years. And I think that this is an excellent book for a leader. He calls him a set man. God hath set in the church. 1 Corinthians 12:28 says, God has established in the church. Firstly, or foundationally, apostles. Secondarily, prophets. Thirdly, teachers. Then in Ephesians he says pastors and evangelists, as well as those three. So he talks about fivefold ministry and threefold ministry, and man being set, and then the building of a leadership team around him, and how that flows out and works out in good, effective ministry. I strongly recommend this book. This is an excellent book. In some ways, it's a better book than this one, but this is the classic book that Damasio has written. And this is one, I think, of his best books right here. So we've got them both, one at the graduate and one at the undergraduate level. Now, the course requirements need a word or two. 2 exams will be given during the course. A midterm must be completed before the second module. So you'll get it at the end of this first module. We are beginning now the lectures of the first module. You've done your preliminary preparation to get ready for now. You've looked over all the material. You've read, hopefully, the textbooks. And if you haven't read them, you've perused them and you've become familiar with them. And now you'll be given, at the end of the lectures, you'll be given your first exam. And then you'll be given another exam at the end of the lectures of Module 2. Now, those will be the same for all of us. But now, take a look then at page 4, IV, and you'll find that the book summary and book review for the graduates is on the Rosenbach-Taylor and the big Damasio text. And these are major book reviews. You'll also find that you will write a shorter book review at the undergraduate level on the Hunter and the shorter Damasio text. So you see the larger books for the graduate and the shorter books for the undergraduate. Now, where the big difference comes in is here, the term project, and that is all spelled out on page IV, page 4. So please take a look at that. That's for graduate students only. Undergraduates don't have to write a term paper for this course. What you have as your requirements, undergraduates, is this. You have 2 book reports on the 2 textbooks assigned, the one by Damasio on successful leadership and the other one by Hunter on servant leadership. And then you have 2 exams, the midterm and the final. The graduates add the term paper and write on the larger books. I hope that's clear. And if you will, look at the evaluation guide and you'll see how the grading is done in the class. Dr. Bond is working with me as my aide and assistant in this course, and I appreciate that a great deal. Now, if you would take a look at the course bibliography, let me make mention of just a couple, 3 more books that I think deserve some mention. And the Making of a Leader by Damasio is about the 7th or 8th book down on page 5. The Making of a Leader, that's this big book. Now, undergrads, if you want to get a good resource for your library and your ship comes in, you got a little extra money, then buy this book, because it'll be something very special for you in your library. His book on the Vanguard Leader is also excellent. The Effective Keys is this book here, of course. So he's got 3 on the list. All of them are very good books. You see John Gardner's book on leadership, 1993, but it's already a classic book. John Gardner, if you want to get a book, it's purely secular, but if you want to get a good book on leadership, just buy his writings. Just buy his writing. Then John Maxwell's books are here. Several of them are here. This, I think, is still his best book, 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. Very easy reading, nice, good flowing style. This book, a little tiny book, Leadership 101, was surprisingly excellent in spots. Here's a book by Leighton Ford, who was an evangelist of Billy Graham and was the #2 evangelist in the Graham Association. Leighton Ford has written an excellent book, a very good book, on transformational leadership. Transformational leadership. What else? Now let me oh yes, the book by Watchman Nee on authority and submission is a book growing out of this great book. Now to me, this is the best book in the bunch. If I had to get rid of all the books and just could keep one of them, this would be the book I would keep. This is a book on spiritual authority by Watchman Nee. It's a great classic. I think it's one of the top 6 books I've ever read right here. And I strongly, strongly recommend it to you. Watchman Nee, Spiritual Authority. It's not a book on leadership. It's a book on who we are in God as leaders. Who we are in God as leaders. It's much greater in its purview, in my opinion, than the book on leadership. Oswald Sanders' book, Spiritual Leadership and Dynamic Spiritual Leadership, are also excellent. And here's a fine book. It's called Organized Flexibility. It's by Dr. Ken Sumrall, and it's on church government that enhances excellent leadership. Practical church government. Dr. Ken Sumrall. Several other books up here. You're welcome to look at them. Just please don't take them away. Here's a book by Don Atkin, Like Father, Like Son, talking about a leader's relationship to growing, budding, younger leaders that look to him for leadership. So a lot of these are excellent books that I think you'll get some value from. Please read carefully the book report and book review sections of both your syllabi. And now let's come over to the first page of our lectures. Are you ready? Everybody ready?
Me.
All right, good, good. 10 principles of leadership, just a little bonus here. Let's work through that for just a second or two. We won't spend a lot of time on it, but these are principles that came into my hands many, many years ago, and I used to carry them around in my wallet on a little card and laminated so that I'd always remember them. A great leader thinks soberly and prays profoundly. That eliminates most folks right there. It eliminates just regular guys and ladies right there. He thinks soberly, deeply, solidly. He may now and then be a jokester, but he's not a joker. Number 2, he establishes his convictions by the word, not by what somebody else is doing or saying. He doesn't spit on his finger and hold it up to see which way the wind's blowing. He establishes his convictions by the word. 3, he defines his terms. He doesn't grab labels and offices, but he talks in terms of ministries. He keeps strong government in whatever he does. Not a lot of rules and regulations, but commitment, relational commitments. See, we say that America is a country of law and order, but it's fast becoming a country of laws and orders. And there's a vast difference between being a person of government and commitment and being a person of rules and regulation. A leader is a person who embodies government and commitment to principle. Number 5, a great leader recognizes and confirms his covenant in bonds of love and respect. He doesn't lord it over. He doesn't need to, because the very person, his very person, bespeaks the government and the order that he represents. Number 6, a great leader does not extend his influence where he's not willing to take responsibility. I studied at my home office today, or studied to get ready for this class, but I had one call that was something I've been waiting for, and so I had to make a decision today. It wasn't difficult, but it would have been and has been for others because they have made mistakes in this very decision. But I had to say today, no, I'm not willing to get involved in that problem because I'm not willing to extend my influence where it has not been invited by the principles involved. Been invited by other folks trying to get me to solve their problem. But I won't do that. A leader will not extend his influence where he's not willing to take responsibility. A real leader prays for a new level of wisdom constantly. A real leader functions by revelation and anointing, not techniques and soul power. That's another way of saying manipulation. There's a little book called Merchandising the Anointing that is quite an eye-opening little book. I won't say it's profound, but I say it does deal with an issue and a problem. A real leader builds according to the plan of God, not in competition or imitation of some other minister or ministry. Hear from God for yourself. And number 3, a great leader just never quits. He just stands and he keeps on standing. He just doesn't quit. There is no quit in the leader's vocabulary. All right. Now we're ready. Page 3. If you're ready, I'm ready. All right. Let's plunge into this now. I don't know how much time we've got left, but if I could get a countdown somewhere around the middle and then every 10 minutes thereafter, it'd be excellent. Thank you, sir. Okay, lecture 1. What is leadership? What is leadership? Nicholas Murray Butler said this. Now, let me say to all of you that you're going to have to use both sides of the page because a lot of times you're going to be writing, oh dear, some of you have got, you've got duplex. Use duplex. Well, you might need to get out another little notebook because not always is the space adequate for the things I want to say. And maybe for the things you want to write, but not for the things I want to say. But here we go. Nicholas Murray Butler said, there are 3 kinds of people in the world. You might want to write this in somewhere. There are 3 kinds of people in the world. Those who don't know what's happening. Those who don't know what's happening. Those who watch what's happening. Those who watch what's happening. And those who make things happen. And those who make things happen. Although leadership is not easy to define, one characteristic common to all leaders is the ability to make things happen. The ability to make things happen. Leadership is not manipulation. It's not manipulation. You see, manipulation is based on deception. Manipulation has as a prelude to it a low opinion of the people you lead. You will never manipulate someone you respect and esteem. The moment a leader manipulates his followers, he's showing his disdain for them. Leadership is not manipulation. Leadership is not dictation. Dictation. Lording it over. Giving orders. Because dictation is based on force. You do what I say. Don't think about it, just do it. Don't evaluate it, just do it. Don't pray about it, just do it. And again, dictation requires a low opinion of the people you lead. Now, I grant you that there are times when people are stubborn and you just want to say, just hush and do it. Amen. But that's always unproductive. It's always unproductive. It's probably better to wait until they can get hold of it And then you can move forward together. Now, if this thing becomes habitual and you think that you've either got a stonewaller or you've got somebody who just can't quite keep up and he's always holding things back for everybody else, then you might need to take a look at the relationship all over again. But leadership is not manipulation nor dictation. Here's a definition of leadership that I like. Leadership is the ability to motivate people. The ability to motivate people to act decisively. To act decisively to accomplish mutually desired results. Leadership is the ability to motivate people to act decisively to accomplish mutually desired results. You've got to make them want for them what you want for them. And if it's not good for them, why do you want it for them anyway? The secret to success as a leader is to find and understand a real problem in people's lives and then solve it. To find and understand a real need and then fill it. What are some leadership traits? Now, first of all, what is a trait? What is a trait as opposed to characteristic or as opposed to a symptom? A trait is a, let me give you a definition now. It's 2 sentences. Let's do it in the plural. Traits are characteristic acts, thoughts, or feelings of a leader. Traits are habitual. They're habitual. Instinctive. They're instinctive. Something you do without thinking about it. They're an inner paradigm. They're an internal paradigm. They are one's initial response to situations or people. That's a trait. Something that you do without thinking about it. It's characteristic behavior. So, what are some leadership traits? Are people born with these? Or can they be learned and cultivated? Are leaders made or are leaders born? That's a big question people have been knocking around for a long, long time. Leadership trait number 1 is enthusiasm. Enthusiasm. Now, enthusiasm includes optimism and hope. Optimism and hope. You show me a dreary fellow, and I'll show you someone nobody is going to follow. Person who is a wet blanket all the time. He's always looking on the seamy, sorry, dark side of things. He will never be a leader. That person will never be a leader. Person who's always timid and shy and unafraid to take a chance. Enthusiasm is a great word. E-N, Greek ain, means stabilized inside. You might want to write that down, because there are 3 words for in Greek. One of them is the word eis, E-I-S. E-I-S, eis. Eis. Now, that means into, like you're moving into something. You're moving in, but you've got motion in you. Eis, into, or unto. Even coming to here, it's still eis if you're headed towards it. It's eis, that's eis, into. Then there is another word down here that is the word ek, E-K. E-K. And this means out of. You've been in, but now you're moving outward. Now you may still be inside, but you're moving out. That's the word ek. Out of. Still in, but you're moving out. And then there is the word ein, E-N, E-N, and that means stabilized inside. No movement. No movement. In. No movement. In other words, this is the center and the core of something. And then look at the word thuo. T-H-U-O. Thuo. Now what is this word thuo? Two possible etymologies of the word. Either one of them will work in Greek. It could be, although I think this one's a little bit further fetched than the other I'm going to share with you, but it could be a part of T-H-E-O, theo, T-H-E-O, meaning God. So enthusiasm would be having God inside of one. An enthusiastic person is a person with God inside. But probably it's this word here, T-H-O-U-O, thuo, thuo. And T-H-U-O, T-H-U-O, yeah, just the U, U-O, long O, is the word sacrifice. It's the word for burnt offering in the Bible. It's something that is being consumed, see, for God. It is offered up to God and it is consumed. The idea of thuo is the idea of burnt as an offering, a sacrifice to God. So enthusiasm then is on the inside of me, at the depth of my being, is the sense of being His. Expendable. Paul said, I would gladly spend and be spent for Him. I want to be a living sacrifice. Present your bodies a living sacrifice. The word there is thuo. Thuo. So enthusiasm is to live life as a living sacrifice. To something you believe in. And in our case, hopefully it's God. A leader is an optimist. He's an optimist. How can you be a pessimist if at the center of your being, the essence of yourself, the center of your soul, there is this burning desire for God? A leader is an optimist, and he therefore thinks positively. No pessimist ever made a great leader. No pessimist ever made a good leader. The pessimist sees the difficulty. The optimist sees the opportunity. Let's put it like this. The pessimist sees difficulty in every opportunity. The optimist sees opportunity in every difficulty. An optimist laughs to forget. A pessimist forgets to laugh. So a leader is an optimist. He thinks positively. You won't be able to show me a pessimist who is a leader that people will follow. I think that God built something inside of us that we have to kill in order to follow a pessimist or be a pessimist. Secondly, the second trait of a leader is trustworthiness. Trustworthiness. Page 4. Now, a true leader, certainly a Christian leader, but a true leader, any leader, really is honest and transparent. A true leader who has true influence over people's real lives is honest and transparent. I'm not talking about people who hold leadership positions now. Yeah, God knows we've seen a whole lot of people who have high positions who really are not leaders of people. They're in positions where they make decisions that affect people's lives, but people don't follow them. A true leader is honest and transparent in his dealings and relationships. In his dealings and relationships, a true leader is honest and transparent. You know, this is why, let me say this to you, this is why it is such a great tragedy when a young leader gets himself into a moral or ethical situation where he or she has to live a lie for any length of time, has to watch what he says, be careful of his gestures, be careful because he's an adulterer, let's say. And so he learns the habit of not being enthusiastic or transparent. It's going to cloud his leadership capability down the road. It's going to become a part of his habit, and it's going to therefore cause people to pause. Even in his most transparent moments later on in life. Don't let yourself get into a position where you live secretly. Try to keep your life open and above board. A leader's got to be worthy of following. He has to be worthy of following. He has to be a person of integrity, a person of his or her word. Now, under point 2 there at the top of 4, this is the way I'd like you to get that. A true leader is worthy of following. Semicolon, a person of integrity. Semicolon, a person of his or her word. Be a person of your word. People can't trust your word. You can destroy a lifetime of leadership with a lie. So trustworthiness. 3, another leadership trait is discipline. A leader is able to lead others because he has conquered himself. He has conquered himself. self-indulgent folks may be brilliant. They may have all kinds of great ideas. They may have all kinds of connections. But a person who has not disciplined himself and brought his own desires into control. I'm not talking about just spiritual. I'm talking about physical. He's going to have a hard time getting folks to really take him seriously and follow him. It's hard to follow a guy that weighs 400 pounds. Because you say, well, now wait, leadership requires discipline. And where's yours? I mean, let me give you 3 little things on point 2 here. Leaders work while others waste time. Leaders work while others waste time. You aren't going to be much of a leader if you spend 6 hours a day in front of the boob tube. Number 2, a leader will study while others sleep. A leader will study while others sleep. That's 2B. 2A, 2B, now number C under 2 there, if you want to take it down that way. A leader will pray while others play. A leader will pray while others play. Oh my, I've got to hurry along here. Another leadership trait is confidence. Yeah, self-confidence. I'm not talking about cockiness now. Cockiness is the opposite of confidence. But if a leader doesn't believe in himself, nobody else will. If you don't believe in yourself as a leader, trust your own judgment, instincts, nobody else will. Gary Player said, he said, I've got a plaque in my home. And he said, I read it all the time. He says, God loathes mediocrity. Gary Player's the golfer, you know. God loathes mediocrity. God says, if you're going to keep company with me, don't embarrass me. If you're going to keep company with me, don't embarrass me. It's a pretty good plaque, isn't it? Number 5, decisiveness is a leadership trait. Decisiveness. Now, I'd like to say to some of you, and I'd like to say this to leaders everywhere, go ahead and make the decision. You can never be right until you make a decision. You can be wrong without making a decision. But you can never be right without making one. When a leader has all the facts, he makes swift and clear decisions. I didn't say they were always right, but they are quick and clear, and he'll make them. I don't have any problem. My wife says to me, you just don't have any problem making decisions, and I can't decide what dress to wear on Sunday. I don't have any problem making decisions. I can make decisions. I'm not saying they're always right. But a leader has to make decisions. If you can't make decisions, then get with somebody who can. And then try to inform him as best you can so that he'll make the right one. A real leader resists procrastination and especially vacillation. Procrastination and vacillation. Don't go to the restaurant with me. I'll order your meal for you. If you keep on waiting and wondering, I'll tell you what's good. Order that. That'll be good. Let's get this show on the road. I got to get back to work. Because you see, a leader knows that indecision in times of emergency destroys one's ability to lead. Indecision in times of emergency destroys one's ability to lead. I mean, sometimes you don't know when you're called on to make a decision. It may come right out of the blue. A leader will make it. A non-leader won't. Real fast now, courage. Courage is another leadership trait. Now, let me give you a good definition of courage. Courage is the capacity to stay in there. The capacity to stay in there 5 minutes longer. Courage is the capacity to stay in there 5 minutes longer. Just hang in there 5 minutes more. God's leaders hear His word, be of good courage. Courage has to do with the heart. Leaders know fear and they experience fear, probably more than others, but they refuse to give in to it. Leaders know and experience fear, but they refuse to give in to it. Now, page 5. And we have 3 more that I really want to get to you. And we're about to get to the end of our time period here. Where are we, Jonathan? Oh my. Humor. Humor. Leaders have a sense of humor. I mean, they can see the funny side. If they didn't, my land, we'd all be crazy, absolutely crazy. What is it? Humor is the ability to see the bright, funny, and strange side of life. The ability to see the bright, the funny, and the strange side of life. A good leader knows the value of a contagious smile. A good leader knows the value of a contagious smile. Listen, except at a funeral, if you don't know what to do, smile. If you think you're in trouble and if fear's creeping up on you, smile. Well, there are 2 more and we'll get to those in just a bit. But this first lecture, everybody realizes, the longest one of the whole crowd. So the rest of them will be a little bit shorter than this, but I'm having a lot of fun with it. So let's take a little break now. It's the time has come to conclude this session. So let's take a little break, and then we'll be back after we get into that coffee out there.